everyone, Nina here of She Knows SEO. Let's figure out why this objectively terrible user experience site is ranking #1 for a keyword. This was a surprise to me. I was trying to find a keyword to do another video for y'all where we're going to compare ChatGPT versus Jasper, and I was so shocked that this was the #1 ranking for this keyword. If we take a look at it, it is objectively terrible for a user. So the keyword that we're looking at here is 1 day in Victoria, BC, or 1 day in Victoria. They are exactly the same. It just adds on BC. And here you can see that Frommer's ranks #1. Now, I have tested this in a number of locations. I've gone in an incognito tab, and no matter what location I set it to, Frommer's ranks #1. The other ones vary a little bit, but every single time, this site, where in the first load, I can barely even see the word Victoria, ranks #1. So let's do some evaluations of these top 10. I think it'll be interesting for us to figure out why might it be ranking this way when Google keeps telling us helpful content is king. Now, I will say we all know Google gets things wrong. And that what they say is not always what actually happens. So an important thing to note first is that the DA of this site is 73. That's very important because it has almost the highest DA of all these rankings. The next one is Viator. We'll look at why I don't think that matches user experience, though, or user search intent very well. But really, this one has got a lot going for it in terms of the DA and in terms of links. Now, Keysearch is not perfect at links. We will look at the backlink profile for this site in a minute. But even just at a glance here, it's not perfect for any of these sites. So it does overestimate a lot. It includes no-follow links and Pinterest. So if it is overestimating for everybody, this one still has the most links. And I do think this proves yet again that Google is not very honest when they say that links are not a ranking factor. They always say it's not in their top 3 ranking factors as well, and that is definitely not true. So when we come to the site, obviously ads are going crazy. I've seen a lot of people post helpful content updates saying that ads are the reason that something would tank. Clearly not, if we take a look at this. So I'm actually going to scroll past them so we can finally, on the second kind of screen of this site, actually get to the content. Now, when we look at it, we can immediately see this is not SEO optimized. It is big chunks of text that are hard to read. There are ads everywhere. In fact, there was an ad that first loaded literally across the top for a second. And I clicked and then it vanished. So I don't know what happened there, but there was something blocking content. Now, this is super distracting. It feels like being in Las Vegas and having all the shiny billboards everywhere. As someone with ADHD, I cannot pay attention to the content. It is so hard for me. Literally, I have to put my hands on the screen to block all the ads on the side just to be able to read this content. And when we are reading it, we can see that there is no no personal experience at all. There is not a single mention of someone having done this stuff. It also, to me, does not match the search intent. Someone is asking 1 day in Victoria. They want to know what to do. To me, they'd want to know when to do it. This is kind of an itinerary post, right? To figure out how should I spend 1 day in Victoria. You don't necessarily need to have a strict itinerary, but just saying something like Inner Harbor. What is that? And then it says this is where you can do all of these things. Okay. It doesn't actually give you specifics of things that you should do in this area. It is just kind of talking about regions of Victoria. I moved here this summer to Victoria, so I'm not the ultimate expert on it, but I've done a lot here. And I can tell you that the Inner Harbor, there's a ton happening. So I don't know if I should be taking a tour. I don't know if I should be going on the ferry, and where should I be going with the ferry? Should I be taking a float plane? Should I be going whale watching? And whale watching tends to take a number of hours. So if you're going to do that, you're definitely not getting to everything else on this list. Then we go into #2. I'd also say these are not formatted well. I'm not even sure if these are headers or not. Ooh, I don't know what just happened there. There we go. Sorry, my computer's going a bit haywire. It sounds like a plane taking off. Maybe because I mentioned float planes. Okay, well, that's just not working. So let's check out hrefs instead. I am also, oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's not even a header. It's just strong, which means that it's basically bolded. That is ridiculous. So this is definitely not SEO'd. And to me, not super good user experience. Also, we have an ad breaking up this content. That is a big no-no to me. And I do set this with my own ads, I would want the ads like not to break up a header section. So then we have Fisherman's Wharf. So now it says hop off the ferry here. It never told me to really get on the ferry. So what? I don't understand. It says to come here, stop for fish and chips or ice cream, check out fresh seafood. Like, that's not really telling me anything. And there's so many things at Fisherman's Wharf. Like, you could easily spend half a day there. And I know the point is like get to as many things in a day, I guess, but it never mentions a single actual place there. There is no specificity here. And that keeps happening throughout this. It randomly bolds things like, okay, here's one or two bits of information, but it really doesn't actually tell us anything. Suddenly we're whale watching in the afternoon, which is also not a good time to whale watch. You want to do it in the morning when they're most active. So like, what? This is just a terrible post, honestly. Beyond user experience, it's just really awkward. Then it goes, if you have another day. If someone is searching for one day in Victoria, they have told us that they only have one day, right? So why would we give them a second day's worth of things to do? It doesn't make sense to me. And it really kind of goes against Google saying, don't include extraneous information just to lengthen the post, like match user intent. Well, user intent is one day. So why are we adding a bunch of extra things that also a lot of these are not near each other? And I don't think you could do all of this in a day. Like Butchered Gardens is kind of near Saanich, but it would be hard to do all of this in one day. You are going the length of like Victoria, basically. And I would even say you're outside Victoria because Saanich isn't Victoria, really. Like it's up by the airport and it's about a 40-minute drive. So you also have to figure out, do people have cars? What's happening? Then we get into Victoria for families, which also, this is just so hard to read. And if you have a second day, like it's just ridiculous. So this post ranks number 1 though. And as I mentioned before, I just need to grab the link. I really do think that a lot of that comes down to either number 1, Google just being like, you know what, we hate SEO. So we're just going to rank anything else. But I do actually think it comes down to the backlinks. So I'm in Keysearch right now, my favorite SEO tool. If you go to competitive analysis, backlink checker, you can actually check the backlinks per page. So I want the specific page's backlinks. So here it says 71, it says 68 on the other page. So you can see it's not perfect. No tool really is. Backlinks are very hard to track. Now I only want to see the do follow. So I'm going to click on follow. There we go. So we have just one actual do follow link here, which is from the Royal Caribbean blog. I'm guessing maybe that's from the cruise ship. Looks like that's their podcast. Yeah, okay, so this is going to be from the cruise ship, and it's going to be something about like things to do when you're in the Victoria stop on the cruise ship. That makes a lot of sense to me. Now, there's so many no-follow links. We've got them from all sorts of different, both legitimate and not very legitimate-looking sites. But this gives us an idea of where these things are coming from. You'll also notice there's only 29 entries, but it says 71 backlinks. No tool is very good at this, and I will fully admit I don't think Keysearch is the best at figuring out backlinks, but it gives us an idea. Now, if we check the second post, Postcard to Seattle, which I do think is so much better, and we're going to look at it in a second, I want to see what their profile is. None. Not a single backlink, even like the spammier ones that we saw. So my hypothesis really is that DA and backlinks are going to be the thing here, or just Google being spiteful. Sometimes Google can be a petty bitch, honestly. So that might be what's happening. Now, when we come to the Postcards to Seattle site, it is immediately easier to read this content. And even if we put it in an incognito window, where I don't have, like, I have my ad blocker on too, guys. I should have mentioned that. Like, even if I take out the ad blocker side of it and we come here, still easier to read. Like, we can actually get into the content. The ads do load. Sorry, it takes a minute. I am hotspotting, so it's not perfect. Let's give it another second because I do believe there's a video ad that should load in the corner. But even so, like, I am able, there we go. I am able to read this content. I'm also able to close the ads. Oh, I clicked on it by accident. I meant to close it. There we go. So I can close that, and then I can see the content even more clearly. Now you'll also see that the ads, they do break up the content a little bit. I don't think it's perfect. If I were them, I would create a div block just to like kind of cover all this so that an ad didn't break up this piece of content. But even so, still better than the last experience. I can focus a lot more easily on this content. But what actually matters way more to me is the actual content itself. So when we go into the content, we have immediately, where was it? I've been to Victoria many times. So we actually get someone's first-hand experience in Victoria. They literally like are about Seattle too, and so they're very close by. Seattle's just a quick ferry ride to Victoria, so you'd be very easily able to come here often. So that immediately tells me this person knows the area. But then we get into 10 things to do in Victoria in one day. And I think that this is one of the things that Google isn't liking, is we get more references to one day in Victoria. So more use of the keyword, even though the content is definitely more helpful. And sometimes signposts like this, like we saw with Fromers, I don't know how to pronounce it. There is basically no signposting anywhere. But signposting things like this can, I guess, be seen as keyword stuffing now by Google. I disagree with that. I think it's just like, I think it's fine that it happens, but Google's like mad about it. So I think that that might be something that is penalizing them here, even though it is definitely a better post. So we have explore the harbor. Number one, this is an action. So it is actually telling us like what to do. And it does say like, again, kind of general stuff in my opinion, of here's all these things to do. I don't think it's perfect. I'm not saying this is the best post ever, but I do enjoy that there are original images here, not just, I don't think there even was an image here. I thought I remembered one. No, there's not even an image of this post. Like what? I honestly, that post is like breaking my computer from all the ads. But we've got some actual specificity here. I would definitely want to see a bit more of like, do exactly this thing. I do think Butchered Gardens should be this high up. Like it is one of the number one things to do in Victoria. I'm not even a garden person and I still quite like it. It is beautiful. So I think it's great that they actually included it. And it is very, very popular. I wonder though if they are also being penalized for having these affiliate links. So Fromers had no affiliates, no nothing in it, no internal or external links really. And that could be hindering a site like this, which is so dumb. Like if Google is mad about affiliate links, that's just stupid in my opinion, because we should be able to recommend something and get a commission. And it does not mean that we are not providing helpful information. Yes, some people will be spammy, but this one is like very minimal. Like, hey, you want to go to Butchered Gardens? Here's a tour. That makes tons of sense to me. So then we have like learn about local history at the Royal BC Museum. So again, some specificity here, like do this thing. And I do think that that is better. We do have not quite enough, I'd say, personal experience inside of the actual little bits, except we get like some, pardon me, I'm jumping around a bit. We don't have personal experience like this is what I liked about it or something. And I think that that would benefit it. I do wonder if they added that, would that potentially push them a little bit higher? But ultimately, I do think it's going to be backlinks. But here we have, they actually name the places to go. And there are so many places that do fish and chips, or like my favorite is the fish tacos on the wharf. So having you tell someone, go to this place, is going to be better. Also, Sweets and Jackson ice cream, they do a dog ice cream. I was very surprised they did that because I was going to get Theo a vanilla ice cream cone. And they were like, no, we actually have like dog ice cream that's made for them and it's amazing. And he was obsessed. He nearly like swallowed my hand whole. He was so excited. So highly recommend. I will say, again, knowing this place better, a lot of these things are not very near each other. You would be spending most of your day walking or trying to find parking. So I think that's something that a lot of these people need to keep in mind, but we're still getting the specificity. So like my favorite part is Fan Tan Alley, which is very touristy, but one day you're going to do the touristy stuff. So we're still getting their actual experience, which is really good. I also like that they are noting specific restaurants. I would potentially link to those restaurants. I think for user experience, that's better. But we're still getting a much more traditional SEO post here in a way that I think is better for the user. Now, this is the part that I think is interesting, is they actually break down an itinerary of when to do what. And I think that is much more helpful for the user. And I'm interested in the fact that neither it nor Frommer's chose that as the primary intent. Because to me, one day in a place, I want the breakdown of when to do what. And then actually, I would do it the opposite and put the list of things after, of like, here's all the other stuff you can do or whatever. Maybe that's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments. But that is how I would kind of address this. So that's the breakdown of it. I think we then get to this extra information of like how to get here that maybe Google's not super happy with, the taking a day trip, where to stay. I mean, if you're there for one day, you might not be staying. I do think the tips are a good section, but I do wonder if Google is penalizing them for those bits as well. So I'd be really interested to see if Marissa, I believe she runs the site, or they, pardon me, I shouldn't assume pronouns. I believe Marissa wrote and runs this whole site. So I'd be interested to see if Marissa made those little changes, if that would significantly change the rankings. This is also a newer post, so maybe it just needs a little bit more time. Maybe it does just need a backlink or two. I'm very interested to see potentially if this could outrank Frommer's, because that post is so bad. Then we have a couple other ones I just want to like click through quickly. I know this video is already getting long because that's how I am. So here we have a magazine, still a very high DA. Also, like a lot of these posts are new. One was Frommer's published. Oh, it's not going to tell me, so I have to check with Ahrefs. No details on when it was published. Get date, Rails. What does that even mean? So yeah, no information, which I think is like lacking quite a significant trust signal, but whatever. And I am not against Frommer's, to be clear. Like I'm interested in these rankings because I think it is ridiculous. Frommer's is fine as a company. I don't care about companies. They can do what they want. So now here we have 8 hours in Victoria. So clearly this is targeting more of like the cruise ship side of things. That is usually about the time that they would have in dock here. I think that's interesting because to me, one day versus 8 hours, like there's a lot of hours unaccounted for there. Like I think there's 16 hours unaccounted for. And yeah, you're probably asleep for 8, so it's still 8 hours kind of missing. But what's interesting here is it really does go into the time of day for each thing. And here you can see, like, it literally mentions the cruise ship. Actually, Clippers might be about cruises. I don't know. I took my first cruise this year and I know nothing about them. So potentially that might actually be a cruise. So yeah, it is. It looks like it is. Okay. So then that makes more sense to me, but I'm still interested in why Google is ranking it so highly. But it has very surface level, I guess, introductions to these things. I do think it is cool that it doesn't just go with the biggest name thing. So tea at Pendray Inn instead of like the Fairmont Chateau Laurier, which is harder sometimes. Not Chateau Laurier, Jesus, Fairmont Empress. Sorry, I used to live in Ottawa. It does have good photos. These are original photos. So I like that it's like going to more off the beaten path things. Like a lot of these, I didn't even know about some of them. I actually lived near this castle for a little while. It is lovely, highly recommend. So I do think it's great that it is giving more unique things to do, which I guess might be why it's ranking so highly. I do think that the breakdown of time is quite good. It is very clear who they're talking to as well. Got a lot of internal links. They don't really mention like one day in Victoria. That could also be to their favor right now. I'm not 100% sure of why Google would prefer this with the lack of personal experience. I guess there are some signals in terms of like those more unique things. So interesting. Then we have Viator ranking here. So this looks like someone actually like wrote an article for Viator, which I wasn't really aware was a thing, to be honest, that like they would rank very well, because they haven't really showed up before for me. Like usually it's just a list of things. But also, to be fair, I think I probably made the assumption that if I saw Viator, it was just like actually tours. So maybe I just haven't clicked in. So I do think it's cool that they have like the 2 days, 3 days. And so it's actually, it's its own post. Interesting. Okay, I thought it would just like toggle this. No, that's cool. You can see it's like an actual person. They put the bio really high up, and I do think that helps in terms of making Google see the user, see the author's experience and expertise really early on. So we have a very basic intro to Victoria. I don't really know why you would need all of it. The bald eagles are also more north or on the mainland, but whatever. So here we go. So now it breaks down like the morning, very, very cursory, but it is specific, at least in the sense of what time to do things. Clearly promoting a tour, so that's probably why it's a little bit lower, even though it has a high DA. I definitely like not super helpful information, but it's there. And I do think that's going to come down to the DA to some extent, and the fact that they feature the writer so highly, the writer's experience so high up and so clearly. Okay, so now we have Penguin and Pia. Oh, that's a really cute name. I've never seen this site before. So this is a DA of 45. Big DA for me not having seen this, and they write about Canada. Interesting. So how to spend one day in Victoria, BC, itinerary for first-time visitors. More of an SEO title here. We've got like, have one day in Victoria, BC. And I think that kind of thing is what Google's not very happy with. We also have like a list of tours. Off the Oswego's really nice. My mom just stayed there and it was beautiful. So as someone who now lives here, I think that's very helpful. But I guess Google doesn't. I also like that they, again, break it down by like time of day to do things. I think the itinerary makes more sense to me. I think adding the address for them, super useful thing. Definitely an original image. I lived by the Blue Fox for a while, and it was so confusing to me because there's carpets next to it. And this is like, I've never seen this without a lineup in front of it. And I always thought people were lining up for carpets for like literally 2 months. Like I did not figure out it was for the cafe. And I was like, wow, people must really like those carpets. So here we have like a ton of personal experience. To me, this is actually probably the best post because it does go into so much detail about all these things. It's very clear about what to do and when to do it. It has the original images. I think the user experience is very nice here. Very clear, like actually good photos too, not just, I don't know, the nonsense I would take, to be honest. Yeah, I think this is probably the best post. But I think what's hindering it would probably be those little SEO elements. The title is very much built for SEO. They don't really have the author anywhere. I don't think I even saw, no author box anywhere. That would probably benefit them. The tours, probably Google's not liking them for that, which is annoying because that's helpful to people, but yeah, whatever. So another site that I think is better than Frommer's and better than, honestly, the Viator one, probably better than the Clippers vacation too. So we have another one here again, SEO title. I'm going to skim through these a bit faster now. We have like a signposted use of the keywords, so probably a bit keyword stuffy according to Google. Again, they all tell you to do the exact same things, which is kind of, I guess, fair for a one-day thing, but still. Yeah, so we've got some stuff. Again, we've got like, other things to do. I thought I was going to do a second day. I think the other things is fine. It's good to give options for like if someone's a bit different. And then it does cover everything, which is good. Getting around. Yeah, I think all of that's super helpful information. It's an older post, traveling BC, lower DA, but this definitely should have more topical authority than some of the others. Now, the structure on the sidebar is not super helpful. I don't think that's great. Also, y'all, just so you know, do not put your affiliate disclaimer in the sidebar. It is, because on mobile, you don't see that till the bottom, so technically it's illegal because you're not disclosing affiliate links before the affiliate links. So be really careful. But we also don't really have any author information here. If I take a quick glance as well, I'm not really seeing Yeah, I don't see any personal experience. I think if they just added that, they would do very, very well. And then backlinks probably. Now, Canada Crossroads, I do know Mayuri, so I know that they write amazing content. So here we go. But I do know as well that they do SEO. And so I think that's going to hinder them with Google here. Their site has great user experience, tons of topical authority, like being all about Canada. I wonder if linking, personally, I don't like to link within at least the first 3 sentences of a post because it's kind of like, hey, come here, get out. But it's at least within their own site. Now it's to a tag. I wouldn't do that. That's my personal opinion though. But I do think that this intro lacks some some personal experience. I keep messing that up, sorry. So lacks like their experience being here. Even though like there are original photos, they always have original photos. There is table of contents. I think like these little things might be hindering people lately. That was something people did for a long time to kind of, especially pre-table of contents, to be like, here's exactly what's in this post. So people kind of grab it for a snippet. And I think optimizing for snippets might be a thing that's hindering people post HCU. I also think like things like this signposting, which used to be really good, probably not super helpful. We also don't get to the post immediately. So getting to Victoria, BC, they're probably already here. So I would dive right into the actual things to do, like touring the Parliament buildings and things like that. I don't know why everyone wants to tour Parliament buildings. I'm never interested in Parliament buildings, but that's just me. So I think I remember seeing personal experience in here. Yeah, I went for an afternoon tea all by myself. Tons of information. They even have like a specific post on it, I believe. So yeah, I think this is a very strong post. Little things to change. I don't know if there is an author box. Yes, there is. Okay. Yeah, so I think it's just like the SEO elements of this one that's going to hit it. We have another one here from Haley on holiday, bit of an older post, but still a high DA 42. Yeah, so I think again, it doesn't start with immediately the thing to do. Lots of great photos. These are really beautiful photos. Tons of personal experience. Like you can just see why I'm annoyed that Frommer's is ahead of all of these. Oh, I don't know what just happened there. Oh, okay, something's wrong with the site. So that might also be hindering them. Google does not like broken things. But yeah, there's no author box as well, which probably would be beneficial. So little things like that. Okay, we have ordinary adventures. I'm also not familiar with this one. So I don't love the layout of this site, but that might just be me. Yeah, it doesn't answer the intent immediately. That's already going to be a ding to them. And then we have ladies itinerary for one day in Victoria, BC. So that's not really an SEO title. I'm guessing that's more like a lady in London kind of thing. Maybe they're more of a Pinterest user, but they're still ranking on page 1 for this. So we do have like, I was excited to visit. Okay, one day in Victoria. So it starts midday, which I think is interesting, but it is very specific that this person did the thing. Because it says lady, I'm going to assume it is someone who uses she, her pronouns, but I'm going to be careful and still say they just in case. Yeah, so this one doesn't fully satisfy intent in my opinion. It goes to like things to do. It's taking a fair bit to load things as well. And I do think there's slight keyword stuffing with the one day in Victoria for the conclusion as well. No date, no clear info about the author, so that's going to hinder this. So all of these sites have like really high DAs, but I do think Frommer's is definitely kind of quote unquote winning because of the single backlink it basically has, and because it does have that higher DA. It is definitely not SEO optimized, but I think this is a really interesting kind of evaluation to do. Even if your own content is in that top 10, to see why you're not number 1. And rather than getting upset about not being number 1, try to figure out ways to get yourself up there. Now, I'm also seeing that like people are clicking through more than ever to other results because they're not satisfied by the number 1 result often. Like if I saw something like this for the number 1 result, I would probably leave pretty quickly, to be honest. I might scroll through and be like, okay, here are the things it lists. But something like this one from Postcards to Seattle is going to be way more useful to me because I can see someone actually did the stuff. Even the Penguin and Pia, where it like specifically lists the time to do things. I always find those so much more helpful because I want to know, okay, what is the best time to do all of these things? And if all the 10 things you list should be done from 10 to 11 a.m., well, obviously I can't do them then, like all at the same time. So doing this kind of evaluation is going to benefit you. Trying to figure out, okay, how often did that number one thing use the keyword? What are the differences between your post and theirs? Like I said, I was very surprised to see that Frommer's was ranking so high on this. And I'm going to be so annoyed if it turns out it's Frommer's and I've been saying it wrong this entire time. But knowing my luck, it probably is. I was just trying to find a quick keyword that would be pretty easy to do a test between ChatGPT and Jasper for an AI writer demonstration. And yeah, got waylaid noticing this stuff and was frustrated to see how unhelpful this piece of content is. But the things that I recommend to those other sites, and again, I'm not critiquing them to be rude, I'm just saying like this is what I think Google is doing, is that like they need to do those little updates to see what they can do to outdo something like this. Because I do think if this is the way that search results go, like users are going to hate Google and stop relying on it. And then Google's going to have kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy of AI is going to come for them because it's more helpful. I'm definitely using AI more for search right now because it actually provides me the information I need. And it would probably not suggest this specific post because it is frustrating. So yeah, I hope this helps you guys get an idea of like maybe what's happening with the SERPs or help you figure out your own analysis of it. Just remember that like Google does not care about us. And so we need to be very objective when we're looking at this sort of stuff. And I think this just proves again that like Google says that user experience comes first and it kind of doesn't. And they say that they don't care about links and they definitely do. So use those evaluations as best you can. I would definitely take away from this using the keyword less often and making sure you have very clear, clearly satisfied user intent immediately, not wasting time on extra bits and bobs, and making sure that you have author information very clearly listed as well. Also, we saw that this first one is pretty short. I don't think I actually mentioned the length, but it's 3,500 words. I think it's actually less if we ignore all of the extra bits. And most of the competitors' ranking also were pretty short. Now, we also saw that the DAs were very high. So if your site has a lower DA, you can still rank for sure. Some of my, I have a DA1 site that ranks for a bunch of stuff. I think it has maybe 50 top 10 rankings and has 5 posts. So it's doing pretty well. And I abandoned that site. So I definitely need to maybe pay attention to it once in a while. But it still ranks. So I don't think it means that you can't rank for stuff. What it means is that you really have to be on top of your game and that growing your DA is really going to matter. So backlink building should definitely be a focus for everybody. Now, I do have a backlink bundle coming out the last week of November for a Black Friday sale. It's going to include everything I sell about getting backlinks. So my Dominate Your DA ebook, my guest posting kit, and a brand new guest posting masterclass all about how you can get backlinks via guest posting organically. So not having to pay for links or anything. And I included a bonus little lesson on how you can build backlinks from Wikipedia in super detailed, show you exactly all the steps. And we walk through it together. So that's going to be available the last week of November 2023 for $147. The masterclass itself is going to be on sale alone for $147 after that. So definitely recommend getting the bundle. And there's going to be a pop-up Facebook group for a month where you're going to get we're actually going to kind of encourage you to build backlinks and do guest posts throughout December, including a little kind of interactive Google Sheet where y'all can post if you want, if you accept guest posts and other people can share them with you. That is non-niche specific, so everyone can join and you're going to be able to make a lot of good connections that way to grow your DA and really make sure that Google's paying attention to your site because they care about backlinks like crazy. Google is like that popular girl in high school that If people are talking about you, then it cares about you. Otherwise, it does not care about you. Like, it just doesn't. So we want to make sure that we're getting people talking about us. And the best way to do that at the beginning is guest posting. It is also just a better return than Haro in terms of like ROI for the effort that you're putting in. So highly recommend it. And I'm super excited to launch that very, very soon. So to get information about that, I recommend joining my email list, and I will link that in the description. But yeah, I hope you guys had fun going through this with me. As usual, it was a longer video than I ever intend to. I didn't even intend to record this video. It just happened. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you notice things that I missed in this video, let me know as well. Yeah, I think it's important to analyze the SERPs right now and to figure out what the heck is going on, to figure out how we can basically win our way to number one. So I hope you have a great day, and I will see y'all soon in an upcoming video on ChatGPT versus Jasper. Bye.